Good evening, India. This is Times Now. You're watching the News Hour. My name is Pranesh Roy. There has been an outpouring of emotions in the country after an undated video of our forces, the one you see on your screen, thrashing the Chinese soldiers has gone viral. The video appears to be from the line of actual control, where our braves chased out the Chinese, but before that gave them a treatment they won't ever forget. But while the nation is lauding the valor of our braves, the ecosystem is once again at work. Those who have made it their favorite pastime to berate our braves are at it again. Mehbooba Mufti, who in the past has not missed one single chance, viewers, to malign and abuse our forces, has found the audacity, and I am choosing my words carefully, to say that our brave Jawans were beaten by Chinese and that they were not allowed to retaliate. While this undated video will surely instill fear in the minds of our enemies so that they don't think about laying a finger on our braves again, the likes of Mehbooba Mufti have come to once again discredit our braves. Now, that is just one video, but there are more that Times Network has accessed. China is rattled by India's might at the border. The reports that we are going to show you will tell you why exactly Xi Jinping's PLA is feeling the heat. Manu Pabi has filed these exclusive reports. These are reports from 1 year ago. But this will give you an idea of how India is not just prepared, but is ready to strike.
Right now we are in a bunker on the LAC near Bumla. This is basically an exercise that we are witnessing right now of a company commander's command center. This is a place where the commander is getting information of an impending attack from across the LAC, and he's just witnessed 3 tanks crossing, and he's given instructions to his troops to engage those tanks and to destroy them. This is a very real world scenario which is being played out in front of all of us, and this is in case of a battle. This is how it will be fought. We are at the strategic Bumla Pass in Tawang sector. Right behind us is the border meeting point. The blue roof seen there is in China. This is the place where border meetings take place in case there are differences which have to be resolved. Local commanders meet up here. This has a lot of strategic significance because in 1962 this was also the place from where the Chinese attacked, and they came all the way down Tawang. And right now the defenses in this area have been beefed up quite significantly. There's layered defense. Okay, we're walking through one of the many bunkers constructed along the line of actual control. This is a network of bunkers, defensive bunkers, where troops are deployed. These bunkers are used as command posts as well as positions from where approaching enemies can be defeated. As you can see, they're heavily fortified. You see steel beams right on top of us, thick stone walls on both sides, blast resistant, and a whole network of them exists throughout the LAC, and especially in the Tawang sector there's a huge amount of these bunkers. Remember, this is the area where China has a special interest, and defenses accordingly have been beefed up to quite an extent here.
To give you a sense of the progress and the scale of progress, let's sample this report sent by Times Now's Priyank Tripathi, who is in Tawang as we speak.
One of the main reasons because of which Chinese are rattled is the kind of development which is happening in the eastern part of the country. We are inside Tawang's city, and as you can see, apart from the national highway, these roads have also been built up so that heavy vehicles can move on these roads and proper supply can be done, so that in case of any kind of emergency, these roads, as you can see, heavy vehicles are still moving inside these newly constructed road. Can be a big possible threat for China in case they attempt to attack India. While trying to find out that what are the reasons because of which the Chinese rattle is the construction work which is going on in Arunachal Pradesh. We are en route towards Bomdila, and this is a route which leads towards Tawang. There are several tunnels which are being constructed by India so that the route can be easier for the troops for further any kind of movement. We know that the India government has already constructed a big airport, a big runway, which is helpful.
Despite the undeniable proof The naysayers continue to undermine our forces. Sample this.
Unfortunately, BJP is doing nothing about it. Our soldiers have been beaten up by them. They are not allowed to retaliate. This is a very sorry state of affairs. Very sorry.
ये इस बात से हम लोग बड़े चिंतित हैं कि चीन के मामले में नरेंद्र मोदी जी से शर्माते क्यों हैं, इतने डरते क्यों हैं। पहले कहते थे हम लाल आंख दिखाइए डॉक्टर मनमोहन।
They are not moving an inch backwards from our land, despite the December 9th skirmish and the scuffle at the border. Still the government is in a denial mode.
The world is taking note of the Karara Jawab. The country is cheering. And that's our legitimate question tonight. Is the Karara Jawab still not good enough for the ecosystem, for the doomsday sayers and for the deniers? That's our top debate.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Let's open this up. Sanju Verma, the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, RSN Singh, one of India's foremost strategic expert, Karan Verma, author, political analyst, Tehseen Poonawala, Majid Haidari, both political analysts, and Professor Monojit Mandal, spokesperson of the TMC, completes the panel. Majid Haidari, let me begin by asking you, when Mehbooba Mufti says our forces were beaten by the Chinese, they don't have a free hand, what does she mean?
Well, Pranesh, firstly a clarification. I don't want to argue on this show because this topic is about something where we all need to be united, be it me, Pranesh or Sanju Verma Saiba, and we stand with our
why are you missing? Why are you not taking Mehbooba Mufti's name? Do you not consider
yes,
a part
exactly.
Of the
Even Mehbooba, see, we all, I said, the entire 1.3 billion nation stands with the Indian Army, including Mehbooba Mufti Saiba or anybody who lives in this country. Because our borders are as sacred as Lakshman Rekha. But unfortunately, this Lakshman Rekha is being breached, sometimes in Galwan, sometimes in Pangong, at this time in Tawang. And this is because the Saffron government is wanting our brave Indian Army to use Stone Age warfare against the Chinese. And which is most unfortunate thing, and my heart bleeds when I see my army fighting Chinese PLA with stones and sticks.
Oh, Majid, really, your heart is bleeding? Your heart is bleeding tonight? Your heart is bleeding?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, let's check. Let's check how much your heart is bleeding. I'm quoting what Mehbooba Mufti has said in the past. She has said, terrorists are sons of soil, make efforts to save them. January 2019, Mehbooba Mufti, your Mehbooba Mufti, October 2021. अभी रुकिए सर, अभी रुकिए जरा, अभी और है, सबर कीजिए, अभी आएगा, और है. Civilians are killed by bullets fired by forces too. Your Mehbooba Mufti, October 2021. Today, the same Mehbooba Mufti is saying, our forces were beaten, give them a free hand.
Sir, everybody has right to speak for the Indian Army because it's not a political institution. It stands for
how are
sovereignty.
you? How are
and
these statements for the Indian Army?
No, where is the Bofors 35 years ago brought by Rajiv Gandhi? Why is Indian Army not using that? Why is Indian Army not using weaponry? Why are they being banking upon the stones and sticks?
Majid Haidari, why are you not using your brain when you're making this argument, sir? Please.
No, how? No,
why are you not using your brain when you're making this?
Military,
don't talk about the Bofors. क्या बात कर रहे हैं माजिद?
It's a case of military infiltration. It's not a chupai being played on the borders.
Sir, tell me.
It's a serious issue of my country's
Majid Haidari,
and BJP.
I know how serious you are. It'll take me one question to expose you, but that will mean that you will get up and leave the show, which I don't want.
I said I don't want
you to sit through the show.
We are united with our army and we make our government.
But you can't be united with the army and a person who's an army baiter. You have to choose one.
I stand with you, I stand with army, I won't argue with you, but we'll make the government accountable.
Okay, so you condemn what Mehbooba Mufti has said?
With the Chinese.
So you're condemning what Mehbooba Mufti has said?
I know Mehbooba Mufti Saiba as being the most confidential ally of BJP. Now, if you want me to criticize Mehbooba Mufti Sahiba, I'll firstly criticize BJP.
I am only asking you to, I am only asking you to list your priorities. I do not want you to criticize anyone.
Sir, let's all strictly focus and make our government accountable as to why we have so many Chinese.
Make the government accountable. Do what you want with the government. That's not my concern. But leave the army, leave our forces aside. Do what you want to with the government.
This is our army. This is not mine or yours. This is ours. And we all need to unite and ask government, why is my army, our army, not being allowed to fight Chinese the way Indian army should?
I have a question about Majid Hydari. I have a question which I have kept for the last. Abhi thodi der mein puchunga, because if I ask you that question, then the debate is over. You will have no answers. And you know what I will ask. Let me bring in Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, I think Sanju Verma, 1 minute. Tehseen Poonawala, I think, is convinced by what Majid Hydari is saying. Tehseen Poonawala, are you convinced with the statements of Mehbooba Mufti?
Absolutely not. Thank you for having me in your show, and good evening to you, to your viewers, and thank you to Colonel R.P.N. Singh ji. It's because of services, people like him who've served us, that we are safe. There are 2 or 3 issues I want to make, in particular with Mehbooba Mufti. That was a horrendous statement to make. It was a pathetic statement to make, and I urge Sanju Verma through you to make sure that this government treats her correctly. For some reason, the very limited point I agree with the earlier panelist, very limited point is, Mehbooba Mufti seems to be helping the BJP every time it's in trouble. When her sister was kidnapped, the BJP government released terrorists. They were in power. VP Singh was Prime Minister. Her father was Home Minister. They released terrorists. Now she's making these ridiculous statements that our army got beaten up. I want to make one thing very clear on your show. We'll discuss. We'll have politics. I have differences with BJP. Neither the UPA government, neither the NDA government, neither the Congress government, neither the BJP government has ever held back our armed forces to react on a local level. And after 1962, we have never lost an inch of land to China. There are intrusions. There were intrusions 600 odd during UPA time, 1300 odd during NDA time, and I'm not getting into number games. The fact is China is going to try and divert attention. Our forces gave them a reply that they will never forget in a long time. But to say, and for somebody like Mehbooba Mufti to say our soldiers were beaten up, is seriously objectionable at a time when the countries come together. So there are only 2 meanings. Either this woman requires treatment, or the government, she's helping the government and the government is giving her a free hand. It cannot be a third thing, because Pranesh, your videos show, and we all know how our Indian army has pushed the Chinese behind. So why is this woman allowed to get away with her rabid lies? That's the question.
Now, Tehseen, there's another question. There are many in the Congress who are saying that China has come inside our territory, that China is encroaching. That's also the question. What are your views on that?
Yes, so, all right. So let me, I'm going to be a little bit, I'll just take 45 seconds so your viewers can understand. Particularly to Tawang, I'm not going to get into too much details. Tawang is strategically very important to both China and India. It's important to China because it does not want any future Dalai Lama to be associated for the birthplace of the 6th Dalai Lama. And there's a historical context to that. Therefore, China will always try and take Tawang. In the 1980s, under Indira Gandhi and later under Rajiv Gandhi, we did Operation Falcon and Operation Checkerboard. And today in Tawang, India occupies the heights. So this is the heights at Hatungla Ridge that India occupies. India has a strategic advantage. This is India's success story, Tawang. China had to backtrack. The Western world thought there would be a war. China had to backtrack and had to call Rajiv Gandhi ji for peace.
You've
China
gone back into history. You're not answering the question.
Heights. China will
Verma, why is the Congress, on what basis is the Congress party?
China will,
your 45 seconds are over. Sorry. Sanju Verma, on what basis is the Congress? I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. I'm sure you can use this time to, note down your thoughts.
No, but your viewers won't understand. The viewers will not. The viewers will not understand.
Viewers can see through. They have the power of seeing through things. Tehseen, the viewers do not undermine their intelligence.
Boss, don't use this language with me. See through.
1 minute. Tehseen, let Sanju Verma come in now.
I don't like this language. See through. I have said nothing. I have said nothing.
Oh my God.
I am not saying that about you. Why are you taking offense,
Let's have a civil debate. Don't use this language.
No, but I am not saying that about you. If viewers can see through, what's your problem?
And all, don't.
But Tehseen, if viewers can see through, what's your problem?
Thank you, Pranesh. Can I come in, please?
Of course, ma'am. On what basis, Sanju Verma, is the Congress or the leaders from opposition saying that China has entered into our territory? Who's briefing them?
Okay. Pranesh, I want to draw the attention of your viewers to the statement made by Rajnath Singh via a tweet yesterday, where he very categorically called out the bluff of the opposition. And I want to read out the tweet without any, ifs or buts, and without adding or deleting anything from this end. The tweet yesterday posted by Rajnath Singh read as much. On 9th December 2022, PLA troops tried to transgress the LSE in Yangtze area of Tawang sector and unilaterally change the status quo. Full stop. The Chinese attempts were contested by our troops in a firm and resolute manner. Look at the words firm and resolute, leaving nothing to anyone's imagination that the Chinese troops were outflanked, they were thrashed by our bravehearts in the Tawang sector. And yet, Pranesh, look at the irony, look at the travesty of things. Look at tweets by every single senior Congress leader, right from Rahul Gandhi to Jairam Ramesh to suspended leaders like Sanjay Jha to Pawan Khera, the entire cabal. They say we respect our armed forces, but within 2 seconds, they also add another disclaimer saying, but we do not trust this government. This government has not come clean on what is happening in China. When you do not trust the government, which says that our bravehearts gave a befitting reply to China, what are you doing? You're demoralizing the armed forces. You're undermining their credibility. You're undermining their bona fides. And then some of their representatives sit here on national debates, on television studios and wax eloquent कि हम तो अपने जवानों के साथ हैं. यदि आप हमारे जवानों के साथ हैं, तो आप बार-बार जवानों पर सवाल क्यों खड़े कर रहे हैं? When the entire world, right from Straits Times to the Taiwan Times to the TASS news agency of Russia, after Galwan said, some said 45 Chinese soldiers have been killed, some said 100 have been killed, some said 120 have been killed, we lost 20 of our bravehearts. What did the Congress say? We don't believe the Western media which says that more than 100 Chinese soldiers were killed. We don't believe the Indian government which says that only 20 of our bravehearts were killed. We believe there were far more casualties. So
which is why, Sanju Verma, which is why I began by asking a direct question. Who's briefing Mehbooba Mufti and opposition leaders? Colonel RSN, who do you think is briefing them, sir? Who's telling them there are soldiers, hands are tied, that they were bashed?
Thank you. Pranesh, I won't take too long. Pranesh, as far as
Sanju Verma, let RSN Singh come in.
Let me just come in for 10 seconds.
Okay.
I rarely agree with Tehseen on anything, but one sentence of his which resonates with me is that the likes of Mehbooba deserve special treatment. I won't go beyond that because this is a national television, but let's not forget this is the same Mehbooba Mufti who after Burhan Wani was killed by our forces, she said copious tears. बेचारा बुरहान वानी तो एक गरीब हेडमास्टर का 20 साल का बच्चा था. This is the same Mehbooba Mufti who shed tears for Abu Dujana. She shed tears for Riyaz Naiku.
The list is long. The list is long, and I spoke about it in my intro. Colonel RSN, who do you think is briefing Mehbooba Mufti and opposition leaders, sir? What is that source?
There is a big PLA gang, since 1947 in this country, there is no doubt about it. We saw the role of this PLA gang in 1962 war as well. And that gang exists in all three organs of this country. There is absolutely no doubt about it. All the three organs, and including the academia, and also including the judiciary. So that this PLA gang has always been there. But if I may request, urge the politicians that look, you have entered. I'm talking about about Abdullahs and Muftis, and the other gentleman was there on his bite you showed on the program. You have joined politics to make money. You have made your money, and then you have most of them are raising their children, to make them the CEO of their ill-gotten wealth. You do it, but for God's sake, don't open your trap as far as the security of the country is concerned. Now, let me explain to you something which I think, most people have failed to do. That do you know this LSC term was never used, before 1993. It was first introduced in 1959 when Zhou Enlai wrote a letter to Nehru, quoting this term LSC, and it was rejected by Nehru that time. But in 93, when the agreement took place, first time this term line of actual control was used. There is nothing called, it's a notional line. Now what is happening? We have occupied defences. And ahead of the defences, these LSC, our perception, their perception, we heavily patrol that area to secure our defences. So, and in that, the contest is taking place where
I'm sorry to, I just want to, sir, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to keep it simple. While you are saying the LAC is notional, is the bravery of a force, is that notional? That is not. That is neither notional nor it's non-negotiable. But the lights of Mehbooba Mufti, you must tell them as a soldier, sir, how does it feel when someone tells you that you were bashed? And the reality is, you bashed the Chinese.
What I am saying... What I am saying is that is why we are contesting. And your video display, it shows that how fiercely we are contesting. How fiercely we contested in Galwan. How fiercely we are contesting there. What my point is to say that oh my God, they have taken your land. Oh my God, they have plonked themselves there. This is what I was explaining to you.
Tehseen, I don't think agrees with what you are saying, and Majid Hydari also is nodding his head in, in embarrassment. What do I say?
Suniye sir. Ek minute, sir.
Let him complete. Yes, sir. Make your point.
Ek minute. You must remember that the PLA is a political army. In the sense that till the battalion level they have political commissars, right? Every action that they do is to influence the politics of the target country.
That's right. Thanks for underlining that point once again. Let me bring in Tehseen. Tehseen, which point do you not agree with what Colonel RSN has said?
I actually do agree with what Colonel Saab is saying, and I just want to, I was making the same point when I was interrupted or you asked me not to. See, again, at Tawang, we are occupying heights. Now when what Colonel Saab is saying is right, when China comes in, China is coming into its perception of their territory, and it's our territory actually, and we believe it, perceptionally and really. So actually when China intrudes into our territory, we give them a fitting response and we send them back. There are 2 points I want to make. Again, I want to re-emphasize. Be it Congress or be it BJP, I don't want to do politics. No government has stopped our forces from reacting at a local level, and our forces know how to do, and your videos are testament to that. I am making a political point now. When somebody like Mehbooba Mufti, in the middle of a crisis that this country, or a difficult time that this country is facing, says our soldiers were beaten up, it is unacceptable. I have 100 differences with the BJP. I think the BJP has a lot to answer for.
Mehbooba Mufti is not alone. There are many in the Congress party who said Pulwama was a homegrown, Pulwama was an example of homegrown terror.
I need to come for this.
Let me bring in Monojit Mandal. He's been listening to this intently. Majid Hydari, we've lost that line with Majid Hydari. Maybe, he's gone to prepare for what he's going to speak next.
Maybe your tough questions.
Yeah.
Maybe your tough questions. Maybe,
I don't know. Monojit Mandal. Okay, let's come back to this. Monojit Mandal. Sir, when leaders from the opposition camp, after the statement of the Raksha Mantri, say that, look, there has been encroachment. And Tehseen Poonawalla was talking about perception. Perception is as important in politics as it is in geopolitics. What message are we sending, sir, when we say China has encroached Indian territory, that our forces were beaten up?
No,
You see, I am not here to speak on behalf of other political parties, but mine. And the position of my political party and my leader, Mamata Banerjee, is unambiguously clear. It's consistent one that on these issues, we are with the government. Mamata ji herself, even 2 days back, she stated the same thing. Incidentally, she is in Northeast right now, Meghalaya. She stated from that part of the country that when it comes to foreign policies, military issues, with our disturbing neighbor, we are absolutely one with the government. But the government has to take us on board as well. You need to hold negotiations, meetings, to have a consensus with the opposition leaders, if not inside the parliament. This has to happen. And I repeat, we salute the soldiers, their bravery, and not just the soldiers on this count. We are absolutely at the
I'm
same
glad you've
page
taken
with
that
the government.
position. I'm glad you, and we were the
Also a
first channel
matter
to
of
break what
serious
Mamata Banerjee has said. She had, in a sense, broken ranks.
My dear friend.
She had shown a mirror to the
consistent
opposition
position
by
of my
saying
party.
that, look,
Please
on issues of national
give
security,
me 30
we stand with the
seconds.
government.
Waiting for 25 minutes. My party was kept waiting for 25 minutes. Give me at least 25 seconds. But it is also a matter of serious concern that why these Chinese are regularly trying to show the aggression in the borders with India in the last 2-3 years.
I want to answer that.
What is our diplomacy doing? What is the 56-inch Chhati Prime Minister doing? And they keep talking about grabbing our land by
Sanju
the
Verma,
other government.
Sanju Verma, the policies of the Modi government are not tough enough to deter China.
Those lands.
That is what the TMC spokesperson is saying.
And the people of Bengal will be with the government.
We heard you.
Reclaim. If the
Fair enough. No, that's a fair question to ask. Are the diplomatic policies not tough enough? Sanju Verma.
If the lands are taken away,
Pranesh, I don't need to be heckled. I was absolutely quiet when the TMC panelist was talking.
Professor Mondal, you've asked a question. Let the BJP spokesperson respond. Karan, I'm coming to you after this.
Thank you. You know, a couple of things very quickly. The question asked by Manojit Mandal is a very interesting one and needs to be answered. Why these repeat transgressions? That is because, Pranesh, which I'm sure Colonel R.S.N. Singh will also corroborate. The McMahon Line was initially supposed to be the effective border between India and China. But the Chinese perception of what the McMahon Line denotes is very different from what our perception of the McMahon Line is. So when the McMahon Line more or less seemed to have become irrelevant, we signed in 1993, 1996, 2005 and 2013 something called CBMs, confidence building measures. And if you look at the confidence building measures signed under the UPA, there are articles 6, 8 and 10 which are relevant, which clearly say both sides will not use firearms, both sides will maintain peace along the line of actual control, both sides will exercise restraint. Now, defense experts on Times Now and elsewhere have said that where the UPA actually made a Himalayan blunder was the fact that when it negotiated with the Chinese, it should have said existing line of actual control. The Chinese asked the UPA to delete the word existing. Had it been existing line of actual control, the change in perception between the Indian side and Chinese side would not have been there, leaving no room for...
Professor Mondal is responding to you. He has his hand up. Yes, Professor Mondal.
There would not have been any ambiguity had we added the word
good
existing.
Friend from BJP, please, these are matters of diplomacy. If your government is strong, which you claim, you should resolve it in that level only. There should not be an issue of military aggression at all. If these issues should be decided on a discussion table, you still have that diplomatic ties.
But Professor Mondal, can I come in?
China is not Pakistan, for God's sake.
One minute, Professor Mondal, if China, and I want to bring in Karan Verma, you know, if you have a neighbor like China, as hostile as Pakistan and China, who've decided to provoke you, given an opportunity, what can you do about it? You can only be prepared and hit back.
Oh, absolutely. And we've done that in good measure. We've left them with a bloodied nose. In fact, today, Pranesh, is a day when everyone across the political spectrum should rally around the valor of our forces and salute them for showing the Chinese their place. Yeah. Now, I will say this, Pranesh. Today, China is in a mess. The COVID restrictions, the dissenting people in China, China doesn't fear anything more than a questioning republic. Today, their republic is questioning them, and this could very well be a diversionary tactic for Xi Jinping. He is on a slippery ground, and this is where we need to be united politically and diplomatically and exploit the fault lines within China. China has a lot of fault lines. Number one being the lack of democracy. Second, the kind of concentration camps they are running in Xinjiang. It is a nation which has a border with 14 nations but has a dispute with 21. China fears all these fault lines, and if India starts giving it back to them, let it hit them where it hurts them the most, we can absolutely ratchet up the tension on them. And they
the China expert on the panel, Majid Hydari,
this is a new India,
does not agree. The China expert is nodding his head again. Majid Hydari, why are you so distracted, sir? Why are you so distracted? आप हंस रहे थे, then you were nodding your head. अब आप ऐसे कर रहे. What do you want to add?
Pranesh bhai, despite 16 rounds of military level talks, we have Chinese aggression. And Chinese aggression, the territorial aggression in India is not acceptable traditionally, religiously. It's our collective belief, because this is the land of Shri Ram. And in land of Shri Ram, Lakshman Rekha being transgressed is something like burning Lanka. But here we have BJP government which has raised $100 billion business with China.
So they've got a befitting reply, Majid Hydari.
No, because you've given the Ramayana analogy. No, 1 minute. You must also not forget that if the Lakshman Rekha is breached.
And you are trying to mislead the nation.
Who is misleading? No, 1 minute. You are talking about the 16 rounds of talk. No, 1 minute. Majid Hydari, 1 minute. Majid Hydari, 1 minute. You are talking about the 16. 1 minute. Karan, 1 minute.
Have their weapons by them.
Karan Verma.
Have their weapons if need be. Majid Hydari, don't worry on that.
Okay, Karan Verma, 1 minute. Majid Saab, you are talking about the 16 rounds of talks. Now tell me, how many rounds of talks have we had with Pakistan?
The weapons will be.
How many rounds of talks have we had with Pakistan?
Don't worry about that.
क्या मानते हैं वो?
I want to say that.
And do you condemn Pakistan? If I ask you, where do the terrorists come from in Kashmir? What will you say? You will say they fall from the moon. Will you say they come from Pakistan?
Sir, as of now, I know the biggest threat to my national sovereignty.
Will you say the terrorists in Kashmir come from Pakistan?
China. Tonight I'll.
Majid Hydari, will you say that terrorists in Kashmir come from Pakistan?
Pranesh, just ask him to say Pakistan.
See, they have been coming. It's an open secret.
Open secret. You were talking about the army. No, you were talking about, you were saying all good things about the army. 1 minute. 1 minute. Who was Afzal Guru and who was Burhan Wani? 2 names I've given you.
See, Pranesh, don't treat me like a nursery
I am not treating you like a nursery kid.
Please. Should I ask? Should I ask?
No. You were talking about. You were saying all fancy things about patriotism, about saluting our braves. कौन है ये दो लोग?
Had Mallikarjun Kharge not raised this question in the parliament, BJP had kept it a secret. BJP doesn't want the nation to know what is happening on the road.
This is not about the BJP. 1 minute. This is not about the BJP or the Congress.
No, it has
this
to
is
be
about our forces.
We have to make the
you settle your score with the BJP. No, after the show is over, call Sanju Verma. If you don't have a number, I'll give you. Call her, settle your scores. This is not about the BJP. RSN Singh, the opposition needs to be told, this is not about BJP, Congress. This is about our braves. This is about Bharat.
No, at one hand you say that, I'm proud of my brave soldiers and the way they fought on, and on the other hand, you say that, land has been given away and the Chinese have captured land. How do you reconcile the two? Nothing could be more diabolical and sinister. I mean, it is a tongue-in-cheek remark to say this. And I must tell you, and again I emphasize that yes, Tahseen, I totally agree, for the role that Indira Gandhi played and Rajiv Gandhi played. But sorry to say, after Rajiv Gandhi, There is a collusion. You know, that MOU that your leader signed with the, ILD, the International Liaison Department of China, and that surreptitious, entry of Rahul Gandhi into the Chinese embassy. You must, I know you will be incensed on what I am saying, but this is the truth. And no, you must tell your party to disclose, for the consumption of the country as to what are the contents of that MOU, because the same MOU has been signed with Jamaat-e-Islami of Pakistan. Yes. So that is why I say that whatever happens on the Indo-China border has a political timing or a geopolitical timing. Either it has to do with, Trump's visit or at that time, this MOU thing was leaked, so Galwan happened. Now the parliament session is on, then this has happened. So that is why I said that the Chinese are very happy with the LAC. Because it helps them to manipulate the politics of the target country. And there is a big, I always say there is a big pro-China lobby here in the country. Remember, there was a judge on the Supreme Court called B.K. Krishna Iyer. Do you know that he was a minister? Do you know that he was a minister in the first Kerala in 1959 when the communist government in Kerala was formed? The first elected communist government anywhere in the world, and that gentleman.
You do your own job, na? If they
I'm trying to
land, reclaim that. I'll have differences, internal differences, like what your political leaders are doing inside the country.
He is not a politician. No, 1 minute, Professor Mondal. RSN Singh is not a politician. No, 1 minute. I must make it clear, Professor Mondal, RSN Singh is not a politician. Professor Mondal, Professor, you are a reasonable man. He is not a politician. Let's at least make that distinction.
Oh my God.
What he is saying
is wrong with the TMC?
Whom did you dislodge from power in West Bengal?
No, anybody speaking up for the country.
Wasn't Jyoti Basu? Wasn't Jyoti Basu in cahoots with China?
Why is he worked up? He should be a diplomatic person.
No, he's not worked up. He's hurt by the kind of commentary which is going on. He's not worked up.
Just because you are in politics.
No. Please don't get worked up.
Politics manipulates the defense of this country.
Why are you worked up so? I did not say that you are a BJP man. You are an army man. Why should I say that you are a BJP man?
Okay.
So your diplomacy.
Okay, let's not talk over each other. 1 minute. Let's not. Professor Mondal, I'm coming to you. You make your point, I'm coming to you. Okay, you make your point. You make your point politely, sir. Don't talk over each other, please. Tell RSN, let Professor Mondal make his point.
Case of ideological subversion.
Don't need to get
Professor Mondal, quickly make your point.
Yes, please, sir. Don't need to get worked up. My point is simple. We will have internal problems with the BJP. What Subhendu Adhikari does in Bengal, what Mr. Amit Shah does in India. We will have those problems. Subhendu Adhikari is a political fraud. We will continue to say this. But on this issue, we will support the government.
The topic of the debate is not Subhendu Adhikari.
Chinese have taken away our land. Reclaim those territories.
Who's told you Chinese have taken away our land, Professor Mondal? Who's told you the Chinese have taken away our land? Who has told you? Professor Mondal, who told you? Xi Jinping called you.
In the past, the Chinese have taken our land. In the past,
back our forces at least. Believe the army.
In the past, it was happened.
Karan Verma, the Chinese have taken away our land. Monojit Mondal has some inside information.
It is, Pranesh, it is rubbish like this that the opposition is guilty of. They are guilty of opposing the country today when they come up with nonsense like this. The DGMO Galwan made it amply clear. The PRO Defense Tezpur made it amply clear. If you don't trust these institutions, you are anti-national. If you say that we have lost an inch of our territory, you are definitely anti-national. You are not a constructive opposition by any measure then. Have differences with BJP politically, but this is where national security has come in. At least have the civility.
Professor Mondal, when you said that the TMC has taken a line to back our forces, to rise above politics, I said, I am glad, we welcome that. But look what you reduced this to. I am sorry, this is unfortunate. On one hand, you are saying we stand with our forces, and in the same breath you are saying that they allowed the Chinese to come in and occupy our land. So make up your mind. China thrashed video, that's our hashtag here. Use that to engage with us. We are moving on.